You are watching the number one podcast in the whole entire youth wrestling community, and I'm one of your hosts, Juanzo.
And I'm your other host, John Paul Leek.
Together we are
Road Break.
And welcome to the NXT review. It's Tuesday. You know, NXT moved to Tuesdays for the new season and everything. We're going to be talking about everything. A pretty good episode, you know, and we haven't said that in a long time. So we're going to be talking about 2 title matches, 2 out of 3 falls, and a women's match. A pretty solid show finally on NXT. You know, nothing really comical. Really solid intensity. So I'm happy finally with NXT for once.
Yeah, you know, this was actually a really solid episode of NXT. There's only really one match that's just like, you know, you kind of don't care. But everything else you just touched on, the 2 championship matches, I thought, you know, they both delivered. I wish a 2 out of 3 falls would have been maybe a little longer, would have been at a pay-per-view. But it was still a pretty decent match for the time they had, you know, left on the show. But overall, you know, really solid episode of NXT.
Exactly. So, family, thank you so very much for being with us one more time. Don't forget to subscribe, hit that bell for notifications, and also, you know, give the video a like so the video gets pushed in the rankings more and more, so more people gets exposed to us. Don't forget to be with Jean Paul. Monday Night Raw, the go-home show for what it's going to be WrestleMania Backlash. Are we going to see this guy as new WWE champion? I hope not, because he sucks. So, hopefully Vince doesn't go that way.
Yeah, no, I don't see this happening. I either see the champ retaining or they'll go back to the, you know, their number one guy, Drew McIntyre. But yeah, it's, you know, this match and then the Asuka, Rhea Ripley, Charlotte match. We keep seeing singles matches out of this triple threat. Do we even want to watch Backlash?
No.
You know what I mean? We already have, you know, the matches are pretty much spoiled. So, you know, I mean, it is what it is. There's still some matches on the card I think will deliver, even if they are, you know, kind of ruined. But go check out Monday Night Raw. We also saw the return of Jinder Mahal. So pretty, you know, and maybe 2 injuries. We don't know the extent of those yet. So, you know, go check out the review. Hear my full thoughts on the show.
Exactly. And, you know, we give you, like, Carrillo, he's okay. He's not, like, completely done, you know, like, he's actually good to wrestle. It was just the scary moment right there. And supposedly they gave the match, they went to Sheamus because he was supposed to win anyhow. So that's why. So, you know, it's all done. But, you know, the referee made that call that, like, all of a sudden, he gets the win. So check it out with Jean Paul, every little thing that happened over there. You know, this show opened up with, like, Karrion Kross and Austin Theory. This match was actually hype during Monday Night Raw. You know, they had a quick promo from Karrion Kross. So that was really cool, you know, like, NXT be inserted into Monday Night Raw. I really like that. And, you know, the match quality, pretty decent. What did you think about the whole thing? Because, for example, Karrion Kross debuting it's like a skirt or something like.
He almost reminds me like of Conan the Barbarian or He-Man.
Yes,
he had that loincloth, and I think he wore that in the pay-per-view match with Finn Balor. Okay. I believe he wore that because I think we commented on it then or something similar. Almost looked like a God of War, you know, Kratos, you know, all that kind of stuff like that, loincloth almost. But you know, this was good. So, I like finish on the gear. I think that's going to be just his like new gear. He changed it up from just the simple black trunks to that. But, you know, this match was good. I liked how it was, you know, Austin Theory. They said he's 230 pounds. He's over 6 feet tall. And, you know, he's a big, strong guy. But he's doing drop kicks and Karrion's just brushing him off like it's a fly. And, you know, he pretty much dominates this thing till they go to the outside. You know, big DDT and everything. Then you see Austin Theory. He gets some more offense, pushing Karrion into the ring post, all this stuff. You think, okay, is the champ in trouble here? But you know that wasn't the case. He wasn't going to lose, especially with what we saw last week. You know, O'Reilly, Pete Dunne, Finn Balor, those are all the big guys coming after him. Yes. And we knew, you know, your favorite song, The End Was Near for Austin Theory.
Exactly. So we got to see, you know, like the big comeback. Saito suplex on Theory. Then he went for like those big blows, like to the back and like to the neck and all of that. And then he actually transitioned to the straight jacket. Right there, you guys can see it in the picture. You know, Johnny Gargano. So you know, I like that. I like just, you know, like the thing that Gargano has on top of his head. You know, I really
the headband.
That. The headband. Yeah, it was really cool. But that's it. But like you said, Karrion dominant. And, you know, it was just like a small feud, like nothing, you know, not even a feud. It's just like, hey, we need something to do for the champion and these guys for 1 week. Let's just have this, you know, this match. But in the end, this was not like the end goal. The end goal was like Karrion Kross is celebrating and all of that. And right behind him is Finn Balor. So Finn Balor, like, turn around. So it's time for my match, man. So, you know, we want to do the rematch. So they say, well, let's do it. I'm ready for it. I'm looking forward to this. So, you know, you see like the big stare down, Scarlett right there in the middle. It makes it even better. So what are your thoughts about this? Like having this, Bryan, in 2 weeks rather than just have it like maybe a takeover that we're going to be announcing like what it's going to be and, you know, and when it's going to be.
Yeah, and like you said, we have a takeover coming up sometime, I believe June 13th, I want to say, sometime, second week in June there. And, you could have saved it for then, but hey, there's two more guys who are in line, for this championship. And with Finn Balor dropping it to Karrion Kross in the first place, I felt like they're not going to do hot potato. So even if you would build this up and save it for the pay-per-view, Karrion Kross is still probably going to beat Finn Balor. So give the pay-per-view match against Kross to somebody else, whether it's a Pete Dunne or Kyle O'Reilly or Adam. Maybe Adam Cole comes in the mix. We have a couple weeks yet. Who knows? But Finn Balor already had his pay-per-view match. Give it to somebody else. But I'm excited for this. I thought the first match was really good. I think this match will deliver too because it's the main title. They're going to give these guys at least 25 minutes time to wrestle. So I'm looking forward to it, and it seems like in 2 weeks is going to be another loaded show.
Yeah, they're going to keep there's going to be an easier way for them to get the ratings because there's no more wrestling in between. Just got a Tuesday. Everybody can just watch NXT. So they're actually cashing in really, really nice. So the move to Tuesdays is making a lot of sense for them. What is not making a lot of sense is this guy. He's showing the intensity to the roof, 100%, all of that. Like he goes and tries to get a match, tries to say that he's cleared to wrestle to William Regal. Is, by the way, it's his birthday. So, congrats, happy birthday to the GM of NXT. So, all of that. He says, oh, I want a match. No, you're not ready to wrestle. You're not clear, all of that. And then he just, throws everything that was in his desk and he says, get out. So you see, a little bit of dissension between the two. So, I don't know. Leon Ruff, for me, again, laws in this, brand. I don't know if he really belongs there. So, and for me, I don't really care for the guy. So anything that he does is, for me, irrelevant. I don't know about you.
Yeah, and I mean, also, he said, oh, the doctors cleared me. Regal's like, well, I don't care what they said because you got the hell beat out of you. Pretty much just rest. He's looking out for the guy. Yes. So then Leon Ruff just destroys his office instead of saying, okay, well, next week, you better have me a match because I want to prove myself. Okay, legit. He acted like a spoiled baby in here. I wanted to see Regal stretch him. It's come on, so that I didn't like you said, it was bad.
Again, and it's what we're going to see later on. Then really, you'll do all of this for that. But anyway, let's go to another one that is a little bit uninteresting. We get to see Breezango against MSK. I mean, a pretty good match, but instead of being a match, it turned out to be more like a dance sequence. I felt like I was at the club because everybody just care about those really big spots. And then Breezango, Tyler Breeze, this. We've said this throughout the time we've been doing the show. He's really good, really underrated. I mean, like you said, if they will give him the Prince Pretty character, all of that, it will be much better because the tag team is not really making them then go anywhere anyhow. They're not getting title matches or anything. But you love this, right? This spot with the referee.
Oh yeah, to me that was the best spot of the match because I like Breezango as a tag team. I don't know, they're just I don't know what it is, whether because they're funny sometimes a little over the top, but I just can't get behind them as a tag team. Exactly. But Tyler Breeze, I like you mentioned, in a singles run. Maybe he should turn heel on Fandango, split away, go back to being that singles wrestler. But yeah, this ref spot, because before that, when they were doing the drop downs and the leapfrogs and all this stuff, like you said, that reminds you like you were in the club. It's all just, you guys actually going to wrestle or what's going on here. And then when the ref got involved, that was the biggest pop for me because I'm like, he did the leapfrog better than Fandango.
There you go.
So, I mean, and we knew MSK was going to win. What were the champs going to get upset? And then MSK, they hit their finisher, they win. And after the match, they call out Legado del Fantasma. They're like, hey, we're not hard to find, blah, blah, blah. So we see that's going to be the title feud. And hopefully, these guys drop it to Legado because I'm ready to see them as tag champs.
Oh, yeah, but what happened with the Gorilla Jump veterans? We didn't hear from Ciampa, also from Timothy Thatcher. So, you see, they're going
in that defense, though, if we say, we see the same people every week, blah, blah, blah. So, it's good to not, to switch it up.
At least give a week off. That's the one.
But speaking of all, them in the groups, they did also mention, Killian Dane was supposed to have a match against Alexander Wolf. Alexander Wolf has, the flu or whatever. And they're like, we'll keep you posted on this throughout the night. And that was it.
And then, that's all I heard. So, posting us, that one mention. That's it. So, but we always deliver is the news for every single one of you. Paul already said Sunday, June 13th. NXT TakeOver in your house, so it's going to take place right there. So we'll see what happens, but you're right, like what we mentioned with Karrion Kross and Finn Balor. So it's going to be a new contender right there. It's going to be a fresh matchup, so that's pretty good. And they're going to have even, Todd, Ben and Jill. They're going to have the old hosts from the In Your House pay-per-views on the old WWF. So So that's pretty cool. So,
and I like the first setup that they had for the other In Your House, and hopefully, they make this like the June pay-per-view for NXT, or like the summertime maybe pay-per-view kind of. Just keep doing it every year around the same time. I think will be cool.
Oh, yeah, exactly. And we got to see, remember, that was like Io Shirai winning the Women's Championship to Charlotte and also Rhea Ripley. So that was a good memory for us. So let's go to, Pete Dunne. He says, Karrion Kross, everybody, I'm the best in the division. I need somebody to step up to me. I pretty much beat everybody. I came short with, Finn Balor, but hey, I'm still the best. And I beat Kushida, which is the current Cruiserweight champion. So this is, again, why do you ask for a match and all of that is when this guy shows up?
Because he at first he called out Karrion Kross. He pretty much said oh, you're scared of me. That's why you accepted Balor's challenge, not mine. Blah blah blah. And then he gets pretty much the exact opposite of Karrion Kross because then, like you said, he's like anybody who wants to step up, and we get the exact opposite here with Leon Ruff. And I mean the match it went how I thought it should have went, except Leon Ruff still got a little too much offense in, but I guess I need to accept that because he got a lot of offense in on guys like Swerve and stuff like that. But to me, Pete Dunne, he was a world champion for 300 some days. So
a whole year, exactly. 500 or some days.
Yeah, exactly. Way more than that. So this guy should be presented a little more legit. But I mean, he just beat the hell out of Leon Ruff. Of course, Leon got his jumps off the ropes, Hurricane Rana, Insiguri, all that shit.
That's why we call him Spider-Man.
Yeah, exactly. But Dunne just beat the hell out of him, whether it was snapping the fingers, the arm bar, just the big elbows and stuff. And, he gets the win, which, it wasn't even, it wasn't the, what is it, the bitter end?
The bitter end. It wasn't
the bitter end. No,
No,
he just pretty much had him in a submission, and he just was elbowing him to the head. And, they pretty much called it. And then after the match, snapped the fingers and everything. Leon Ruff screaming in pain. So, I said I wanted him done with Swerve Scott, and, that's good that that's the case, but I hope it's not going to be a feud with him and Pete Dunne. Hopefully this was just a one-off thing.
I really hope that. I really think that it's going to be, Kyle O'Reilly, but we're going to talk in a little bit. But like you said, this was just hey, a good showing for Pete Dunne at the expense of Leon Ruff. There you go. That's what it's going to be. So let's talk about this, Paul. We got to see the women's champion, Raquel Gonzalez, just, getting ready for the match that she's going to have. Dakota Kai's really hyping her up. Let's do it. It's going to be legit. But before that, what do you think? Finally, in 2 weeks, we're going to see Frankie Monet debuted. A little too late for me. This girl should have debuted already. And I don't know why they're waiting so much on Frankie Monet. But at least she's going to come back and they're going to have her debut match in 2 weeks. So we said 2 weeks is going to be a really loaded show.
Oh, yeah, and I'm looking forward to it. Like you and I both said, when is she actually going to be in the ring? Now we know 2 weeks. Hopefully it's not a bullshit match. Hopefully it's, something at least you can be oh, that was a pretty good debut.
Yes, exactly. We need her to be like that because otherwise you're wasting the girl. They're doing the same thing that you did to Xia Li. Really hyping them up. So we're really high, but when we get the end product, nothing happens. So it's oh yeah, sure. I rather watch Impact when she actually was the champion and everything. So let's go to the championship match. I know you like this. And we both were supporting Martinez. We like Raquel, but Martinez, everything that she's done. It's more like this kind of worker that every single day shows up to work, does everything good, and you want to see that person succeeding. You want to see that person having that big moment. Unfortunately, is her Raquel is her first title defense, so it was really, really difficult to make the title switch right there. But regardless of that, they had a really great match. They have chemistry together, and Mercedes make Raquel look really good.
Oh, yeah, you said, both these women are pretty much the same size, but, Mercedes really sold for her and stuff in the beginning of this match. Raquel dominated it, and then you saw Mercedes, with the big comeback, the big, what did she hit before taking her to the outside? Yeah, the spear and stuff. Yeah, and then and then later on in the match when she had that momentum going, I'm like, okay, and that, they're on the apron and she goes back in, wasn't a pin, and it's okay, here we go. She hits the Fisherman Buster, her finisher. Yes. And you think, okay, that was closest. 1, 2, they almost had you. But then when she kicked out of that, okay, yeah, it's kind of over. And then Raquel comes back, the big boot, and then she picks her up and gets that big, almost power bomb, one arm choke bomb, whatever you want to call it, and then she gets the pin. But this match was really good, for a TV title match, or not TV title, but a title match on TV.
Yes.
They didn't do a pay-per-view or anything, so this it was good. The right winner, unfortunately, but I was pulling for Mercedes, but like you said, we knew it wasn't going to happen, but this was still good. But now I want to see who's next for Raquel. Is there really? Tell me, is there really any woman that's built up?
No, not really.
That's what I mean. No. Yeah, there's really nobody. You don't really have any baby faces.
Unless you do Frankie, but Frankie will be still, like really early.
Yeah, no, that's
you don't have enough time to do that. Maybe the rematch with Io still also doesn't look good. Maybe it's always Starks.
Yeah, maybe, but that would be, I would think, another easy one to be like, oh, Raquel wins, another. Yeah, but like, I mean, see, now that would be a legit debut match if you would do Io versus Frankie, but then see, that would also be no, not really, because one of them would have to lose.
Yes, exactly.
So maybe build that up for like a feud or something.
Maybe like you said, like we'll see, or maybe now you start the dissension with Kai. Mm-hmm. Like right after this, maybe like next week they have a match, and then you see like what's going on. Like maybe that will easily be you have a few weeks to build. Yeah, and that the dissension is like we're no longer friends. Hey, I won your title because I'm tired of not having gold around my way. So maybe that's what happens. But like you said, regardless of that, Raquel first title defense, is in the books as a successful one. So good stuff on that. Now Bronson Reed, like you said, like was he eating like a lot? No, it wasn't that. He got jumped by the Garganos because again, like they keep like. Hyping the match that they're going to have next week. And it's going to be like, we're going to reveal the stipulation in a little bit. But of course, a jump right here, this one didn't bother me as much just because, hey, it's like this match that they're going to have. I mean, the winner should have been already Bronson Reed, but at least we didn't see Dexter Loomis. A few guys have like a little bit of a day off. So it was okay. I didn't mind that too much.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, at least it was really only one backstage beatdown tonight, I believe. So, I was fine with that.
Exactly. So now let's go to this, Paul. Isaiah Swerve Scott finally has his own group, and the name was revealed and all of that. And the guy that, like, right there, Frankie J. also, is the same guy that is doing the Most Wanted Treasures on A&E. So he's in 2 shows, in A&E and now in NXT, and the name of the group is His Row, right? His Row.
Yeah, because they're all kind of like rappers, and the one we already saw, what is it, Adonis or something?
Ashanti Adonis, yes.
Yeah. We've seen him before a little bit when he was when Swerve was like a baby face and going against Santos and all that. We did see him, so we kind of are familiar with some of those. And I might be wrong, but I don't know if that girl is the one who when what's his name? Cameron Grimes was playing basketball and she smacked the basketball away. Yeah, so we have seen all these people before and stuff. So this is good because now. Last week we saw his group. Who the hell are they? Boom, he comes out and says like, oh, Swerve's house and, all blah, blah, blah. I want to win, for all you guys and everything. No, that wasn't me. I'm finally being me. And like they all start rapping and or like not really rapping, but like rhyming and stuff. And it's like, this was good to introduce the group, but what are they going to do? Because if they're all just going to come out and just keep talking and not actually wrestle, then okay, but I'm interested to see who they're even going to feud them with.
Yes, yeah. Like we got to see, like I said, maybe a tag team. They have like MSK also.
It's like the hip hop version of Sanity.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, because they have all the members out there. They have Killian Dane, they have like a Nikki Cross, they have Alexander Wolf, and they got Eric Young. Yeah. So I like that. I like that. So Swerve Scott said that they came to NXT to conquer, and whoever is going to be in their way, they're going to beat it down. So good stuff for like Swerve Scott. He has the talent, and now he finally has an identity. And
I actually don't mind like the them all being rappers and stuff, because what's one of the first things we saw was Swerve Scott. He was in the music studio, producing his music, and I believe he actually does rap in his new entrance theme. So at least the gimmick fits and it makes sense.
Yeah, exactly, because it's an extension of you. It's an extension of yourself. So an extension of yourself talking about that. An auction for like a beach house. Like he's going, oh yeah, I want all this money. And then like he starts to like go against somebody, right? And he's like, what is like 20 million? Is that what?
Yeah, because they keep bidding it up. It's at 2 million and it goes up, and eventually it's at like 6 million. And Cameron Grimes is like, I'm sick of betting. This is going too fast for me. Why doesn't he slow down? So he's like 8 million, and he wants it to be over. And then you hear somebody 20 million. He's like, who the hell is going to pay 20 million? This house isn't even worth 20 million. And then it's Ted DiBiase, and he gets pissed, and he's like, let's go. And he wants to fight him right here. And he's like, hey man, everybody has a price. His DiBiase's throwaway lines, that he says all the time. But this is. At least we keep seeing this, but it needs to end with him being his manager, saying, "Hey Ted, Ted, you're legit. You have all this money. Help me out. I want to be like you. Okay, kid." And then he helps him out. So
so that's what it needs to end. And he needs to have more matches because it's cool to see him as a character. But I'm forgetting that he's a wrestler.
Oh yeah,
have feuds. The guy is has a lot of talent. Please do that. I mean, this is good, but also remind me that he's a wrestler. So, talking about wrestlers, right, Paul? Legado del Fantasma with like Santos Escobar, they're here for that 2 out of 3 falls. He's ready to get that Cruiserweight Championship back. He says, like, familia, tradición, el legado, all of that. So he wants tradition, family, and, legacy. They want to get that back. So he says, Kushida, this time I'm getting my title back, and everything will be back the way it was. So, you see a lot of confidence from these 3 guys. We'll see what happens towards the end of the show. But, good promo from them. So, like, tell me a little bit about this. Next week, we got to see finally. Last week was Tony Storm's, promo. Now it's Zoe Starks. So they're going to have another match finally. So we'll see. I'm telling you, if Zoe goes over, Zoe's going to go against Raquel. But if Tony goes over, maybe she could go against Raquel too. Maybe, maybe a disguised #1 contender right there.
Yeah, I mean, I would say Tony Storm needs to win this. And, you kind of do something where maybe then they have, like, the rubber match, the grudge match, whatever. Zoe won at the pay-per-view. Tony wins here. Maybe they get the pre-show or the opening match, at NXT, in your house or something. And then that can be maybe a #1 contenders match. Who knows? Maybe you don't even, because if you have this match and you have a women's tag team match, maybe Raquel doesn't even defend the title. Now, I know that would suck, but it's like, hey, that's a way to kind of say, oh, the card's already loaded. Now, but it'll be to determine a #1 contender. That way you can kind of have the champ, not wrestle on the show if you don't really have anybody built up. But I like this feud because, both these women are good in the ring and they're good talkers. Zoe Stark said, I respected you, all this stuff, but now I don't. You're a piece of shit. Tony Storm's like, you were just the flavor of the month, and you're starting to taste, stale. So,
sour.
Or sour, whatever. I bet, she likes her juice sour, if you know what I'm talking about.
But, 1 year with that juice. Yeah.
But, I mean, this is, it was a good promo. Like I said, I'm excited to see because they're both good, but Tony needs to win. If Zoe wins, it's good for her, but it really buries Tony Stark.
It really does, exactly. And then, please.
And that's nothing against, that's not saying, losing to Zoe Stark, you should feel like bullshit, but it's, how many times can this woman lose as a heel before you go, oh, well, I don't care. I don't care about you. That's the main
point, exactly. As a heel, you should be getting more wins. Let's talk about now to the next one. Orange Cassidy against
Brandon Cutler. I think that's Orange Cassidy and Brandon Cutler.
Yeah, exactly. That's right there. Like we're covering AEW on a Tuesday, but no. Kyle O'Reilly going against Oney Lorcan. This was quick. This was just to hype Kyle O'Reilly. That's fine. The guy also they're building him up as a believable babyface. Yeah, the entrance nobody likes it. I mean, the theme song is growing in with me. I'm starting to enjoy that a little bit. But match quality, pretty decent. Like Kyle O'Reilly was like, backstage. I think it was in outside of the Performance Center. Oh, you have been beating like a lot of guys, but have you beaten me and all of that? But in the end, like the big knee from the turnbuckle, 1, 2, 3, he gets the win, of course. And then that's the main feud for me, Paul. Pete Dunne right there, he starts attacking him. So I think that that's going to be, if that doesn't happen, in 2 weeks or so, in that takeover, we're going to see a match between these two. And that will be the #1 contender. Pete Dunne against Kyle O'Reilly.
Yeah, exactly. That's how I would do it, and that's a good way to kind of have all these guys involved in that title picture still. Instead of just doing a triple threat, you give the rematch to Finn Balor, you make these two a #1 contender. And at this point, for me, I'd rather see Pete Dunne because, you see Kyle O'Reilly coming out. He dresses like some metrosexual beach bum. And, he comes up to Oney Lorcan, and he's just like, Oney Lorcan's like, he says, what's up, chicken butt? There's no way I want my champion to say, what's up, chicken butt. I'm sorry. To me, you're like, you were up here when you split away from Undisputed Era, Finn Balor, all that stuff. And
well, yeah, you're not presenting him,
no.
He's a little
and that's him. And that's him. That's not NXT going, oh, say this. That's him. I feel like that he's like a goofy, whatever. He maybe is legit in the ring, but when you're that overly goofy on the promos, no. I mean, give him the North American, but that's as far as I want to see him go.
That's his ceiling, right? Exactly. But this actually gave us a big comeback. That was really cool to see, because you see Pete Dunne attacking O'Reilly and all of that. So we had to see the return of Bobby Fish. He's ready to come back. Remember, last time we saw Bobby Fish was like War Games. He was almost actually injured in that match. But, really cool comeback. He's actually defending O'Reilly. So the question was, is he going to turn against him or anything? Actually, he remained neutral. So I really like that. They have that big stare and it's, hey, man, it's like, I'm just here to watch your back. I know you have some other scores to settle. But if you need me, I'm here. So you see the friendship is still there. There's still the tag, all good. Between them, at least they're still undisputed.
Yeah, and Bobby Fish also said he has some stuff to settle on his own. So who knows? Maybe we're going to see Bobby Fish versus Adam Cole. Maybe he's going to call out Adam Cole too and be like, hey, who do you think you are? Blah, blah, blah. Who knows what they're going to do? Roderick Strong is gone. He's taking a break or whatever. So I don't think it'll be Roddy. And, I don't really know who else his score to settle would be, but we'll have to wait and see. But, I mean, it was a good return. That I did like.
No, yeah, really nice. And, nothing like, hug or like.
Yeah, it wasn't over the top bullshit. Like, hey, man, you do your shit, I'll do mine, and maybe one day our paths will cross.
But we're still legit, That's that was really cool, And like we mentioned, next week Bronson Reed kind of promo, and he kind of promo for next week, and he said, you know what? Since you're jumping me and everything, you're not letting me eat. You know what? I was really hungry back then, but you know what? Instead of steel cage, I'm gonna have all the cake and everything that I want. And I'm going to have my chalupas and my tacos and all of that because Santos Escobar just gave me like a few of like his meals and all of that. So I'm really
excited. The taco truck. He pulled a Taco Tuesday, legit. But no, the steel cage match, actually, in all seriousness, I do like this stipulation for this because, like he said, the way you guys are always jumping me. Now it's just you and me. And of course, I knew he was going to say inside a steel cage. It was kind of predictable the way he was cutting the promo.
Inside is steel cage, yes.
Yeah, so... but this also, I think, works in maybe Gargano's advantage. If you wanted to keep the title on Gargano and have Bronson Reed not be buried to get pinned by a guy who's the third of his size, this is the way to do it.
Yes.
And a steel cage, because he can just climb over the cage. He can go through the door. He doesn't actually have to pin Bronson Reed.
Exactly. So, good point on that.
Hopefully Bronson Reed climbs up to the top and goes to do a tsunami. Gargano rolls out of the way. He hits it, sells it, and then
you just slide out of your way out. Exactly. And they gave us like this, like superhero card, like picture of like the way. That was kind of fun. I enjoyed of course Marvel. I enjoy DC. So a little bit of that is fine. Just if you give me like pieces of it, I'm enjoying it.
Could they have the belts though? Could they have
exactly.
instead of just like it's not October. I don't think there's any comic cons or comic conventions or anything. Like, can you at least wear your belts and try to look legit? But
then at least wear the belts and then like show that they're legit exactly on that. So now let's go to the main event. This was a pretty enjoyable review. So like throughout Free Falls NXT Cruiserweight Championship, Santos Escobar against Kushida, a pretty good match. Like I said, maybe they would have given a little more time, maybe 5-6 more minutes. I would enjoy it even more because they gave us a really, really strong showing of what athleticism, speed, like intensity is. I really like this. And for big matches, of course, Santos Escobar always has like a different gear. So he got the mariachi band right there. Really, really, evoking like his Mexican culture. So really, really cool. Paying homage to them. I really love that. How like proud the Mexicans are. I really enjoy that. I really respect that. And the match was really cool. The first 2 minutes, though, I really hated that because MSK shows up and, like Legado and they start feuding. It's like, you guys have their feud on your own. Stay away from the match. It doesn't matter. I don't want to see it. I want to see you guys outside of this. So the ref took out, Legado del Fantasma and MSK and then take me through the rest.
Yeah, and then, I agree with you. I don't know why you couldn't have just had, them come out. Maybe they go to walk to the ring with him and Santos says, no, guys, go to the back. It's legit. And then it was just, you could have just cut out this crap. We didn't need to see the beatdowns and everything. But no, like you said, then to get into the match, once you got through the bullshit, it's like cutting the fat off a steak. Once you cut the fat off, then you can eat the steak and it's delicious. And, unfortunately, this was only a 6-ounce steak, not a 10-ounce, 12-ounce steak. Like you said, it could have been a lot longer, could have been more enjoyable, but it was still pretty good. You're watching it and, like I say, I always have my eye on the time and I'm like, okay, it's like 10:50. It's like 9:50 almost. It's like, when's the first fall? Boom, and then we see Santos. He hits a Phantom Driver, gets the first fall, and then they start, wrestling a little bit, and then Vic is like, okay, let's go to the van, let's go, go to the commercial break or whatever, and then you see, boom, Kushida gets the armbar. He's like, no, don't change it, oh my God, no, don't.
The Crown breaker.
Yeah, don't go anywhere.
And
then we see, boom, Santos taps out right before commercial, and I didn't like how when they went to commercial a few times, it was, no picture-in-picture.
No.
Like really, can we not get picture-in-picture for the main event? But
yeah.
This was really good. Lots of these guys have really good chemistry.
Yes.
I would like to see this match, on a pay-per-view, really focus on it. Be like, this is good, especially a 2 out of 3 falls match. That's like a really, that's a working man's match. That's somebody who has lots of stamina that they can really go. You're not going to see any bullshit guys in like a 2 out of 3 falls or Iron Man or any kind of match like that. But of course, just lots of pin attempts and stuff at the end. And you think, okay, how's this going to end? And win. What did you think of the ending? That's kind of how he got the last pin.
A bit one-sided, just a bit one-sided, because Kushida took the upper hand really, to the roof. He remained on top throughout the whole last sequence of the match, because he started with the armbar right there, applying a lot of strength. And then I thought it was going to tap right there, but Santos made it to the rope, and then of course rope break. Thank you. But then he goes for this big. What it was a side slam suplex or another line suplex like that. And he kept he kept the you see the arm of Santos. It's still backwards, so you are provoking making more pain right there. So I was maybe Santos could have done a little bit more climactic stuff. He could have done a move or something. But in the end, that's what they gave us. So like I said, the end it could have been maybe Santos trying something else, because to me it was one-sided towards the end.
Yeah, and you could have even done something. Now, I don't know the specific rules, and WWE changes the rules, so it doesn't really matter. They could have just changed it to how they wanted the story to go, but you could have almost had this one fall, and they're like, oh, there's only so much time remaining. Oh, man, and they start fighting, boom, 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 and then it's like this, 1, 2, buzzer rings, and it's oh shit, it's tied 1-1, and then maybe you do it at the pay-per-view, or you just do it, I don't know, but the pay-per-view is a month away, though. They're not smart enough to book a feud long enough to get us to the pay-per-view, but regardless, this was a really good win, big win for Kushida, because Santos wasn't just a joke. It wasn't he beat Leon Ruff or somebody like that. No, he beat Santos Escobar. Now the only thing is, where does Santos go? Hopefully he can lead Legado to beating MSK, so at least the group has some sort of gold. But, and who knows, maybe Santos will go, okay, I'm going to put this guy over. He's legit. Maybe Santos will move up. Maybe, Gargano will beat Bronson Reed, and maybe then Santos will beat him. Who knows? There's a lot you can do with him, a lot of good you can do with him, but unfortunately, there's a lot of bad. We could see these guys just be wasted away, but I hope that's not the case.
Yes, exactly. So, they gave us a pretty good match. Kushida finally accomplishing all the goals that he has on NXT. There's more to accomplish for Kushida, but at least on this night, he remains the NXT Cruiserweight Champion. So, pretty good that. And, I feel that we're both happy on this show. At least it kind of gave us, a little bit of, the old legitness that NXT used to have back in the day. So this is what we have, family. Thank you so very much for every single one of you for your attention. Don't forget one more time, subscribe, hit that bell for notifications, and also give the video a like so it keeps going up into the rankings. And tomorrow, remember AEW Dynamite. Are they going to step it up too? We'll see. A lot of talk about, with blood and guts, a lot of people hating it, a lot of people loving it. Oh, it's fine. Oh, Jericho, he's a 50-year-old man. Please support the big bum that he had and all of that. So we'll see about that. Paul, where else can they find us?
And then make sure also you follow us, Rope Break, on Facebook, the OG Rope Break on Twitter, Original Rope Break on Instagram, and of course right here on YouTube, the home of the #1 podcast in the YouTube wrestling community, the Original Rope Break.
So you and me have one more thing that is left to say, and that is...